Of course, I've never been there before.
Does anybody mind if I record this meeting? Valerie, one of our newer potential members, um, couldn't make it, and she wanted to just look at the recording.
Okay.
Cool. And let's see, Bernadette, one of our bookkeepers, also wants to join us occasionally. Been talking about benchmarking. Hi, Brittany.
Hi, can you
Hello.
hear me?
Ken. Yep.
Oh,
If my memory serves me correct, Maui, the Michigan Association for Utility Intervention or something like that, set up a little workshop on benchmarking. And EcoWorks was the administrator of that. And we've been talking about benchmarking for a while. So I invited Brittany to join us and possibly even help us with a benchmarking effort. So she's been working on just trying to understand what we're up to and then might give us a proposal. So she was just curious what goes on at our energy team meetings and might have some questions for us.
Sure.
John, have you met Brittany before? Okay. So we're expecting a couple more people. If you guys don't mind holding on just for another minute or two. But
Oh, no problem. Just to not have any of that, right?
Henrik, we're just waiting on another minute or two to see if anyone pops in. A couple people couldn't make it,
Okay, sounds good.
and Henrik is also with EcoWorks. I don't think I told you guys, but warm training. Bob Chapman came and spoke to our environmental commission earlier last year.
Oh, really?
Is he still?
yeah, small world.
Yeah.
Does he still darken your doorway or lighten it? I should say.
Yeah, we've
We've
seen him
seen
work
him
for a
every
while.
often. Yeah.
He's really a sweet guy.
hmm
It's been fun working with him over the years. You talked to Bob Chapman much, John? I think you're the one of the person who got him to come talk to us about power purchase agreements.
Not recently, but we've kind of known each other for. I think I met Bob in the late 1980s, and it was funny. I met him at a retreat held by utilities, and I remember Bob and I sitting down playing chess,
No kidding.
kind of in the evening. But the utilities had called a bunch of folks in to talk about what they should be doing with respect to demand side management.
That is very cool.
I think that was before actually Bob was even at warm training.
Oh,
But anyway, so that's he and I go back quite a ways.
that's pretty neat. Well, we might as well get started. I know you guys probably have other things going on besides this meeting today. We usually try and keep these meetings to 10 minutes. No, just kidding.
I was gonna say.
Keep 'em under an hour. So far, we've been doing pretty good. I just posted the agenda in the chat window, and yeah, I think you've all seen it. But is there anything you want to add to that agenda?
So,
Okay, are we cool with starting? Even though
yeah,
Heidi,
I thought for sure Heidi would be here, and probably Roger too. So I thought, didn't we move it to noon because Heidi needed to be noon? I thought. Maybe I'm.
yeah, so
thinking of it different.
she'll probably join us in a few minutes.
Oh, okay.
I did mention that a couple other people couldn't make it, so
Oh, okay.
But Roger tried to tune in at 11, and I sent him an email reminding him that we had switched to noon. Normally we meet at
Oh,
11. I think it's the third Thursday. But before we leave here, we'll probably try and set another meeting. Anyway, we've got a few things on the agenda. John shared the consumer commitment program. And John, would you like to just start by a quick
take
recap of
this
what
off.
a quick recap of that and what you'd like input you'd like from our team here?
Sure, yeah, I was attending a training session for local government related to climate change put on by Rocky Mountain Institute. And one of the things they were pushing was, or talking about, was they're talking about a lot of things, but building electrification. The idea being for climate change, we had to start thinking about getting rid of natural gas too. It's a fossil fuel. And so, obviously that relates to electric vehicles, but also there's talk now about, out in California, they are, some cities are banning natural gas hookups and that sort of thing. So, I was kind of listening to all this and thought, well, it does kind of make sense to get people starting to think about these things. So the basic idea behind consumer commitment idea is that we're all making purchases when something dies or fails or gets really old. And so it would be good for people to kind of plan ahead for that because, when the hot water heater dies, most people don't want to wait too long to get a new hot water heater, especially, yeah, so you understand, or if the furnace dies or something, you don't have a lot of time to shop around. Oh, there's Heidi.
Hey,
Hi, Heidi. I'm just talking about consumer commitment program. So the idea basically is to have a program locally where you ask folks to make a pledge, basically. And obviously there's it's a voluntary sort of get people thinking about stuff. Basically, the pledge is that if you're going to build a new home or you're going to replace an appliance or a furnace, you should really replace it with an electric device, basically. So the session I was in, a lot of it had to do with replacing natural gas furnaces with air source heat pumps, which actually is it's kind of funny the way they approached it though, because the economics didn't turn out too good because they didn't think in terms of that you would basically be both replacing your furnace and air conditioner at the same time, which in a practical sense is true because, just because your furnace dies doesn't mean you're going to junk your air conditioner. And so that's kind of an issue related to just the economics and the practicality of that, kind of getting people to commit to air source heat pumps as opposed to natural gas furnaces. Now that of course makes more sense if somebody's going to go build a house, because then they, can put in an air source heat pump for both cooling and heating. But it got me thinking about, boy, when my water heater dies, what should I replace it with? Electric on-demand heater or a heat pump or just a electric hot water heater. I got an electric stove already. But what I wanted to do was just kind of throw the idea out to the energy team and get us thinking about it. That's one of the things we do, right? We think about things and kind of see what kind of makes sense for the township and what we might be able to pull off. So I'm looking for feedback on just the concept, but also a practical sense also of, if we were going to do this, how would we do it? Would the township have a web page where people can go and kind of sign up and just kind of say, yep, I make a pledge? It'd be pretty simple. Would we get, I guess we would get the word out like we do with all our kind of efforts. Maybe Green Neighborhood Network would be a a good way to kind of push a commitment to kind of use electricity in the future rather than natural gas. So that's the idea. I'm just looking for feedback. Is this a good concept? Is it a good concept for us to try to pull off? I think before, certainly one of the next things I'm going to want to do, and I haven't had a chance to do it, is just look more into what the economics of different alternatives are. What if, if somebody really does, for my case, a natural gas water heater dies, okay, how much is it going to cost to replace it with electric water heater, a heat pump, or on-demand water heater? So, but that's true for gas stoves, electric stoves, all the different possibilities, gas dryers, electric dryers. I think some of it, the electric appliance would probably be cheaper. But let me stop there. I think I threw the concept out. What does everybody think about? Good idea? Should we think about doing it?
I don't see the downside to offering a commitment program that's voluntary. Overall, I think it's definitely a great concept. Just getting the word out though, and then also, I mean, I did look at the link you provided, and one thing I'm wondering is part of the point of this is the ease of being able to quickly replace it with an electric appliance where they have resources where they can go straight there. It's not merely just the commitment, you're then given the resources to follow through with that commitment. So I'm assuming that's, a big part of it. And if that's the case, making sure that, say on the Meridian webpage, when you're able to sign up, it's clear where those resources are, because I could see that being a big hang up for people where it's like, I'd like to commit to this, but if my HVAC goes down in winter, I'm calling the closest person who can get here the quickest because I need heat, right? So just making sure that it's clear to people that, hey, there's alternatives, there's outlets to be able to replace these just as quickly as you would, the other options. That would be kind of one of my biggest questions of how can we provide that, for people.
Well, I think that's an excellent point.
Heidi, I just wanted to mention that Brittany and Henrik are from EcoWorks, and maybe they can introduce themselves when we talk about energy benchmarking.
Okay.
But I just wanted to let you know that they are not spies, and their intentions are good.
For the natural gas industry.
They're also quite knowledgeable, so I would encourage you guys to chime in if you have thoughts on or questions about this, because we're all learning our way into the future here.
So let me put Heidi and Joanne on the spot. What do you think, Heidi or Joanne?
Getting information and data to people is probably really helping.
You have some kind of feedback, Joanne. Oh, I couldn't hear you.
Sounds like a vacuum cleaner.
Yep, there's an issue going on, Joanne. Maybe you've got a challenge with your sound. Heidi, I guess you get to go first.
Well, I just caught the end of what John was talking about because I had to join late. And I totally agree with what Rob said, is that often you're doing things quickly. And so being able to Google something quickly and say, here's the pros, cons, et cetera, is the right thing to have.
Leroy, do you see any issues with the
Well,
that's of the webpage?
No, I think we probably can put something up. I have a little bit of a challenge because, well, British Columbia has about half the heating degree days that Michigan does, less than half. And it's a lot easier to install an air source heat pump there, I imagine.
Maybe it can be made clear in the commitment that, you could still, whatever you can do is good, right? So if it's a piece of equipment that is easier to come by or is less pivotal or time sensitive because of the time of year, you know, allowing people to realize that, you know, this is a goal, it's a commitment, yes, but do what you can, right? Encourage them to get any appliance that they can, and provide those sort of options, and just, you know, kind of make it clear to people that anything you can do is appreciated, even if, oh, it turns out you can't get that HVAC as quickly as you wanted. Well, you know, some other appliance is less pivotal to the home. Get that one then. You know, anything is better than nothing, right?
Yeah, we operate on a continuum, and anything along the continuum is helpful to the goal.
Right.
I think I've got it
Yeah.
fixed now. Sorry.
Hey, there we go.
Yeah. I think probably my comment is similar to what people were saying, just endorsing more information, more data, especially about heat pumps and things like that, just to demystify. And then the commitment part is nice also.
And maybe something where if those who do sign up can then, there's a nice little cut and paste kind of thing they can post on maybe their Facebook or something to say, I've committed to this, you know, you should too. Which is something for them to kind of, you know, be proud of, show their friends and family, you know, hey, this is a great initiative. And either way, it also helps to spread the word. And then maybe in that post, it could provide a link straight to that commitment so other people can join, things like that.
Oh, that's a real good idea. Yeah.
I have a problem because natural gas is typically quite a bit cheaper for heating than electricity in Michigan. Obviously, it's harder to use it for cooling, but at least from my understanding.
Well, and you could get state some of the advantages of like electric water heat, things like that, where you can get, you know, instantaneous heat, right? To your water is heated right away,
Yeah.
versus gas that, you know, takes a while. So people that want a hot shower in the morning right away, well, if you have this, literally just turn it on and it's steaming. I don't know, little things like that to give extra incentives for people.
Yeah.
to
Does
justify the
anyone
cost.
have a comparison though? You know, so like you said, electric heat is, I mean, gas heat is cheaper than electric heat, but what if you have solar?
Well, that would change the equation completely.
yeah. And it's a tricky equation in some ways.
Yeah,
Because you don't know how much sun you have in the winter. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, actually, I was surprised when I first started seeing air source heat pumps because, you know, it wasn't that long ago when people said, hey, they just don't work in Michigan. Apparently now, though, they can be used in Michigan. I've seen them in a number of installations. You know, you may be a problem up in the UP at times, though, because as the temperatures get colder, they become less effective, is one way to put it. And I think the economics are dependent on, you know, thinking in terms of using it for both cooling and heating. Because, yeah, there was some sort of website I went to kind of check out the economics for Michigan for just replacing a furnace with air source heat pump. It didn't look good. But, yeah, I mean, you know, some people that made a commitment, they may build a new home and it might be relevant to them. I think everybody's kind of making a good point that, you know, we kind of have a laundry list of things for people to think about. Some would be relatively easy to do and some would be more challenging for a number of reasons. So, yeah, I guess, you know, I've certainly got enough feedback. Anybody got any red flags to think about? Because to me, the next step is I'll just continue to do my research. You know, one part of the research would be to look more closely at alternatives in economics, and then also what kind of resources would exist that we could use to populate a website, because we don't have to reinvent the wheel. There are fact sheets and other sorts of information at British Columbia and all over the place. So it'd just be a matter, I think, of tracking those down for our possible use. So, but does anybody see any red flags for kind of what we've been talking about?
Hey, John, this is Brittany. I just wanted to say two things. First, this is a brilliant idea. It's something that our team has actually been talking about, is how can we help municipalities just get the word out, because even myself, like, I'm an energy scientist and I'm trying to figure out, okay, do I get a heat pump with my next house? Developers, like builders, don't want to do it. They act like it's foreign and they don't understand it. It's like trying to just find the resources. It's really hard. So I think trying to break down that barrier is brilliant, even if it's just providing information. And I was going to say that DTE and consumers are doing a pilot rebate program right now.
Mhm.
I guess it's a rebate, where if you're doing any sort of expensive renovation or new construction, you can put in a heat pump and they will cover a portion of the cost.
Oh,
So that could be something that you just put on, the website, or to put out there for people to know. And then I was going to say, I don't know if Michigan Saves could help, because they have a list of different contractors that people can work with. So maybe they could help pull together a list of contractors or something who people could go with to put them in the right direction, or point them in the right direction.
that's a good suggestion too, because they do have a very good list of contractors, and you can go there and pick the type of project, and then give you the closest contractors. So that's a good thing for me to check out.
Yeah, Michigan Saves is a great program. I think that's a really good idea. Because I mean, not only do we tackle the issue there of finding people to do this, but also that there's a sort of a double-edged sword there, the cost associated, which Michigan Saves can also help you with. So that you kind of can tackle two problems there in one. And that it kind of is exactly what I was going to add, which is how do we, kind of sort of incentivize this in a way? Because while I know there are people out there that would love to commit, there are many that would need a little bit of a nudge, right? And so, yeah, what kind of rebates are out there? I know, like, if you're in the Lansing area, Board of Water and Light is doing rebates for certain efficiency upgrades that have to do with certain electrical appliances and equipment. So that's another incentive rebate program that can be added, to that list. But yeah, I mean, in general, finding a way to sort of incentivize it, and then also breaking down barriers of knowledge here, because I can tell you right now, a lot of people, you start saying heat pump, they're gonna have no idea what you're talking about.
Right.
And so, frequently asked questions, simple stuff, just what is a heat pump, and having that front and center to where some of those simple questions can be knocked out right away, and then add some sort of an incentive with a place to go to view the incentive, to view possible financing through Michigan Saves, and then, and here's the list of contractors. So I think there's definitely avenues, where this can be extremely effective, potentially.
Yeah, that's a good point about heat pumps, because, some people hear heat pumps, they think about geothermal, and some would think about air source just because of their experience or what they've read. Or so it could be, people go, what kind of heat pump? Isn't that the stuff where they dig the holes in the ground? And,
also a good option, though, if people want to go geothermal route,
right.
Michigan Saves finances geothermal, so that's another thing that can be added on there as well.
Right.
I wonder if this could be done on a regional or state, even a state level, because obviously the Catalyst Communities project that the state is behind, and some of this local carbon reduction effort, this regional climate change initiative might have a real use for this type of information on a much larger scale than just Meridian.
Well, I'm only looking at Meridian rather than statewide. Let's start here and see what happens.
I'm just trying to figure out a way we can get EcoWorks to populate the website.
There we go. Now I see your madness.
Yeah, I'm really interested in it. I really am, to see what we can do. There is one last thing too that could be a resource. I don't remember what it's called. I know Brett Little with Green Home Institute. I think he's designed a program that instead of having to meet, one of the bigger energy performance standards, it breaks it down so that people can then slowly over time upgrade appliances or their building, so it's more affordable and easier for people to digest. I don't remember what it's called, but that's another resource that could be helpful.
Well, that's I know Brett, so I'll check that out too. Yep.
Great.
Yeah,
Thanks.
real quick note too, just on the incentive front, I love this idea of a consumer commitment. I think this is fascinating. I'm very curious to see where this goes. In my mind, it naturally kind of connects with like bulk purchasing and group buys too. If you can get a significant number of commitments, that's kind of an automatic incentive if you can bulk purchase, you know, heat pumps or insulation or what have you, and just drive down that cost. I think that's, I would certainly sign up for that. So.
Cool idea. Thank you, everybody.
One other thing too, as far as the incentives, and you know, obviously, I think about solar a lot, but I'm wondering if it could be, you know, a way to introduce people to renewable energy in general. Hey, you have this new electrical appliance. Well, have you considered powering that electrical appliance with energy you create, right? And then here's, you know, some sort of avenue for that, or, you know, not only Michigan Saves, but maybe you could find, you know, Michigan Saves contractors on the list that would be willing to give some sort of a discount for those, or, you know, coupon code kind of thing for those that come through this avenue, thereby giving additional incentives, which even if they don't actually take the next step of powering that new appliance with renewable energy, having those extra incentives out there might be enough to kind of at least get that first step to where they do get the appliance. So either way, it's a net positive.
Good point. Good idea.
Well,
I think so far so good. Like I said, nobody's raised any big red flags, so I'm going to go ahead and continue my research. And Leroy, don't make it a statewide program yet.
somebody's probably already working on it, but
That's
yeah.
actually probably true, because when I was at this training, you know, there was like 20 local governments from around the state. So Grand Rapids, Ann Arbor's probably already working on it.
Great. Well, thanks, John. It looks like you opened up a can of worms here.
Right. Which I like to do.
It's always exciting when people get excited and like to share ideas. So it's fun topic of discussion. I'm sure it'll be ongoing. Maybe it's a good segue into the update on the discussion with Absolute. Rob was part of that. Derek was part of that. We're basically in a nutshell, we're looking at how we can move forward on our next solar project this coming year. The township has set aside resources, and Rob and his crew have been citing, there's a walkthrough today, isn't it?
I leave immediately after this. For that. Yep. So, meeting one of our like top electrician we're working with there, doing a full walkthrough. Yep. So actually, I did have some updates that I wanted to share with you guys.
Okay, if we could do, if you could give some brief updates, that would be good.
Sure. So I mean, you know, obviously we're working out the details. That's part of the site visit. Kind of putting this all together. But from everything I'm seeing, I think we're going to be able to get full offsets under what we were talking about. So I think we can. I think it's yes. So I think it's going to be even better than we were expecting. And we're going to be able to get it to full offsets. Yeah, so it's and I obviously want to put it all together and get the details and make sure that it's as good as I think it's going to be. But I really believe we're going to be able to take it full offset and be under budget. So yeah, I was excited to share that, with you guys.
You guys have sharp pencils. You can.
Yes, we do, and that, I mean, we're more than happy to do it. My goal, once I realize, hey, this is what full offset's going to take, and what is it going to take to get that, and we've been having discussions with the engineer and stuff, and yeah, we're feeling extremely confident that we're going to be able to get that 100% offset and still, maybe even have a little bit left over to take to the next project. So obviously, got to work out the details. Part of the reason for the site visit. So I'll know more in the coming weeks. But overall, though, it's looking extremely positive that we're going to be able to take Service Center all the way off, 100% offset. So, yeah, which is exciting.
Awesome. Do you need me there for that walkthrough?
No, Rob Rafson's going to be there, taking us through. You're welcome to come.
Rob McKenzie. Rob McKenzie.
I'm sorry. Yeah,
that's okay.
I'm mixing up the Robs. There's a few. But yeah, no, Rob McKenzie's gonna be there. Full walkthrough. We'll have access to everything. We're bringing a lot of our initial plans and stuff, so we should be fine. We know what we need to look at. The only thing that we still really need would be any additional diagrams, drawings, building design for the structural load analysis for the engineers. Anything we can get as far as plans, building, I mean, simple stuff, age of the building, everything. The one line diagram that initially was the wiring plan for the building, these sorts of things. That should be all on record.
I did send a PDF with all those documents. It's pretty large, but if you if you see something you need, feel free to let me know.
There were a few things in there that were key. So once again, this is let us get kind of through the site visit, and then I'll tell you if there's any pieces missing. But yeah, I think after today too, we're gonna have a much clearer picture of what we're working with, and I'll let you know if there's any specific stuff that the engineer's like, I need this. And I'll let you know. But yeah, we're sure looking extremely optimistic as far as the capability there. It's a great spot, great facility. The fact that we can get so much on that flat roof and not have to worry about taking it through concrete, things like that. It's going to help on cost tremendously.
Great. Thanks, Rob, for you and your crew. Is there anything else on that?
Not really. I mean, okay. I really just got to go through the walkthrough and then, have the discussion with the engineers after our findings, continue to do some of the modeling. And then, yeah, within the next few weeks, I can have a lot more information and specifics. But it's looking extraordinarily promising.
Great. Well, thank you again. And moving on to benchmarking, we've been talking about doing benchmarking ever since we stopped our contract with Planet Footprint several years ago. They always provided us with good information, although I'm not sure we really utilized it to its fullest capacity. Part of the challenge is we still, anyway, we're looking at doing that again, partly to keep track of our energy savings from solar, but also from energy efficiency improvements that we implement. And in talking with EcoWorks, they've had quite a bit of experience working with other municipalities, and I thought Bernadette, one of our assistant accountants, is also pretty good at number crunching, working with Excel sheets. And EcoWorks also informed us that consumers is looking at the potential of downloading our data directly into Portfolio Manager, which may or may not come in the super near future, but they are providing ways to send you Excel more efficiently. They've got a program where you can subscribe for each of your accounts if you'd like to get an electric download. So that was encouraging, but I'm going to let these guys talk briefly. If you guys could keep it fairly brief, we'll still get done in an hour. But go ahead and introduce yourselves, and if I don't want to put you on the spot, but if you want to just talk a little bit about what you've done and maybe what you hope to do for us, and what we might see if we do end up contracting with you, what type of savings might we achieve just by benchmarking, beginning to sort of keep better track of our utility usage?
Yeah, I can get started, and then Henrik, let me know what you would like to add to it. So I'm Brittany Turner, and we work at EcoWorks. EcoWorks is an environmental nonprofit out of Detroit. Was originally Warm Training Center. It's been around for, I think, going on 40 years now. But what we specifically do that's a little bit different than the rest of EcoWorks is we do a lot of consulting for municipalities. So we've done energy plans, we've done greenhouse gas inventories, benchmarking projects, really just helping municipalities set energy goals and help them try to reach them. So with that, we have benchmarked for a number of cities and townships in Southeast Michigan. Most recently, we benchmarked with the city of St. Clair Shores, which is a pretty extensive project that Henrik was working on here recently. And I think it's kind of similar to what we could do with the township, where we're looking at your main municipal building, your usage, making sure we get an inventory of your meters, and seeing what that usage looks like to make sure you have a solid baseline. And we've used Portfolio Manager to do that. There was another part you asked about. Now I can't remember.
Potential savings. I know that if you, once people start
yeah.
looking closely at their bills, they automatically start saving.
Yeah, so Portfolio Manager with the US EPA, they did a study. Oh gosh, it has been like maybe 10 years ago now. But what they found out is that you can save just like 7% on how much energy you use just from benchmarking, because you identify issues, you'll adjust for problems that you find. We found that sometimes there's just billing issues you find, or you change your rate. So there are some pretty low-hanging fruit that you can address. And the biggest thing is you can prioritize your most inefficient buildings. So we can try to identify which buildings to focus on first, so you can get the biggest savings on cost and on energy. Yeah, so that's a little bit. Anything else you would add, Henrik?
No, I'll just jump in quickly. So my name is Henrik Mader. I'm also an energy analyst with our Strategic Community Initiatives team. Like Brittany was saying, we mostly do consulting for public entities, mostly with a focus on municipalities. Some of our work has included, pretty much everything across the clean energy spectrum. Right now, I'm involved in benchmarking projects with 2 cities, so certainly I've got a good amount of experience with benchmarking, and looking forward to working with y'all. One thing I would add too, kind of unrelated to benchmarking, but we are also electrifying our building right now using a commercial air source heat pump, and we do have rooftop solar, so that project is underway, but we are expecting a pretty intensive case study on that, so I'll be able to look out for some further data to share.
Great. We'll look forward to hearing more from you in the next few weeks. Thanks so much. Does anybody have any questions for these guys, or anything to add?
My only question would be on the application for this on a more individual basis, like just like on homeowners. Are there any tips I could give to homeowners who are really interested in efficiency or using their new solar system as efficiently as possible? I guess, and I always suggest part of what I tell people is that we want you to try to reduce and also become more efficient. It's not just about creating more energy; it's about using it wisely. Insulation, things of that manner. But are there simple tips I could give people? Of things they can look for on the bill that would be mistakes they're seeing, or just general stuff that would be kind of simple, where I could just tell people it could be useful. Maybe not.
No, that's a good question. That, to me, it also ties into what we were just talking about with education on heat pumps, or even a hot water heater, so folks can become more sustainable in their own lifestyle. First thing that comes to mind is if they have DTE, there's the Insight app, and you get I think it's the Energy Bridge, and so then you can, on the app, you can see your usage. I think it's based on per hour. I don't know if you can get even shorter time frame than that, but that's kind of cool. You can set a goal, and that whole app has like a laundry list of different techniques people could institute to be more efficient and save on energy and cost. That could also be a good place to pull from, like recommendations to possibly put on the township website, or something like that. But it actually, coming from DTE, is a pretty good tool, I think, that people could utilize.
Yeah, that's exactly that kind of thing. That's perfect stuff where I can give individuals who are already clearly interested in renewable energy, beyond the stuff I can tell them about, making sure you're not losing energy through just leaking under your door. Just get little simple things like that. I can give them tips for insulation and that kind of stuff. But yes, resources like that, that's perfect.
Rob, you can get a, what's the device called? I'm missing it, from the library. You can actually get one from the library and go around your house and look for heat leaks and stuff like that.
Oh, like one of those smoke pens?
I can't remember what they're
Yeah,
called.
I think that's like a related to an energy audit. I used to actually do that, the BPI blower door test stuff, but you can go around and see where air is flowing.
Yeah.
Where you're leaking. Yeah.
But for the do-it-yourselfers, they can go right to the library Internet of Things here in Okemos.
Really?
And
I
get
did not
one.
know that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
We had a little bit of fun with one of those.
Okay.
Yeah, I would add, it's like a pretty easy note, but just to make sure that all of your lighting is LED, because I think like sometimes people can overlook that or, I don't know, discount it for whatever reason. But that is a hugely effective strategy.
Oh, yeah.
Especially for like commercial buildings or anything, which, I think we're all aware of, but just to make sure that that's kind of at the forefront and not overlooked.
And a huge money saver too, and that gets people's attention.
Absolutely.
Huge.
And then I think, like Brittany was saying, exploring whatever is available through your utility in terms of rebates, whether that's prescriptive or just on things that you can purchase, like smart power strips, for example. If you do the ROI calculation for those, it's like 30 years or something. But if you can get one for free from your utility, that's free energy savings that are automatically just, shutting off your vampire loads and things.
Yeah, remind me again, is your utility DTE and consumers?
You muted there.
Mostly consumers.
In our township is consumers.
Mostly. I know. Okay. There should be. I'm not as familiar, but I'm sure consumers probably have some resources too that you could use to help with that. Because I was going to say, I know DTE, they do the what do they call it? Like the home energy efficiency visit. I had it done in my own house, and like they come through and they'll give you LED lights. They gave us a Ecobee smart thermostat to put in our house. Sometimes those like more institutional programs, it's free. You get the utility to come in and they'll do it. So
Consumers used to have that. Yeah, they used to, and I actually used to work for an efficiency company we actually helped people get those packages. So I would, bring a case of LEDs and low flow faucet heads, and then the high efficiency thermostats and stuff. So been years since I've been doing that, so I don't know if that program still exists, but
it does.
at the time
it does. Yeah, but I don't know if people want people coming in right now, but yeah.
Well, that's true. Right.
Yeah.
Put a pin in it.
Well, that's a good segue into the next topic on our agenda here. But is there anything else on this before we move on from benchmarking? I just thank you again both for tuning in. That shows a commitment and interest, and I hope you'll tune in again next month.
Yeah, thank you.
I'll add you
Thank you.
I'll add you to our email list, and if you have any questions as you're preparing sort of, what you might help us with, feel free to call any of us here. Just real briefly, we are looking at trying to get a bid on some LED lighting in our public safety building, but just been having a little bit of challenge working with a contractor and supplier, and so I've got calls out, but no progress on that since last time. So, but I will keep you posted. If you have suggestions for anything related to LED office lighting or particular,
I can ask our electricians and see if they have any recommendations. So that let me ask around. I might be able to.
Okay, we might be interested in getting a second opinion or another bid. The challenge in the public safety building is it's pretty secure facility. So can't just offer a tour at whim. I've got to set that up with the police chief, and you have to do a background check. No, just kidding. Don't have to do that. But it's a little harder than getting in the public works or the service center, which you're going to be getting into shortly, Rob.
Leroy, what's kind of the nature of the problem? They just this is the supplier that usually supplies are
Yeah, there's a woman, Peggy McLeod with, I think it's Gray Bar. She actually has a sole source. You know, given COVID, she has a pre-approved
yes,
ability to not have to go to competitive bidding.
okay.
She did give us an estimate on our municipal building, but which was very helpful. And maybe she's a little shy about doing all that work again for another building when we didn't go ahead with the municipal building.
Oh,
Um, but we decided because we had just completed a major HVAC renovation that we didn't want to create similar disruption redoing all the lighting. So our decision was to move toward the public safety building, which is one of our largest energy consuming buildings. It occurs to me that we might want to look beyond LED lighting because there are still some opportunities for HVAC improvements and control systems that might create a nice package to help us achieve our 30% energy savings goals. But you know, I'm not exactly sure how best to proceed here, other than wait for them to return our phone calls. We have had some energy audits of the building, and we've got a nice list of things that need to occur, but getting them all done has just been a little bit of a challenge. If you guys want to share any resources after this meeting, I'd be happy to, or further questions or suggestions, I'd be happy to.
Yeah, I can ask around. The only thing I would say is that, and unless they've told you otherwise, I wouldn't be surprised if there might be material delays to the point where it might be hard for people to be able to put bids together as well, because the suppliers and distributors are saying, well, we're not sure when things are coming, and you know, the prices might change. I just from speaking from some you'd be surprised, like very simple material, common electrical material, construction material has been really delayed with a lot of uncertainty these last few months. So it could be related to that.
All right. Yeah, good suggestion. Thank you. Anything else for the good of the whole?
well, Leroy, just for background here, I know we did some kind of testing or trial runs in the service building for the LEDs, but we haven't actually completely retrofitted any buildings yet, right? Or have we?
No, not that I. No.
Public safety would be the first one for reasons you mentioned. From there, we would probably run around building by building.
Yeah, we have done some little trials in offices, and people like the quality of the lighting. The thought of focusing on public safety because it's a 24-hour building. At least parts of it are. So 24-hour usage.
Would you use the energy savings fund to partially pay for the new lights, or isn't that a factor?
I think that's a great idea. Yeah, and there's rebates from consumers as well, so that's.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, right.
But
right.
they're not as significant. But the payback on LED is obviously pretty good, as Henrik sort of hints at. So send me any other thoughts you might have. I think you've all got my email, but any other comments related to that? Been an interesting meeting as usual. I'll forward this recording on to our folks that couldn't make it. Do we want to set up a time for our next meeting?
Yeah, I mean, these Thursdays always seem to be pretty good. People. Lunch hour is not bad either.
Are people comfortable with the 18th?
18th, Thursday, yep, okay.
At 11 or 12?
Yep.
Anybody have a preference?
No.
Heidi, do you have any preference of 11 or 12?
I guess 12 is a better preference for me.
Okay. Great. Well, nice to expand the team a little. Brittany and Henrik, thanks so much for joining us and your excellent suggestions.
Which
Yeah,
day's
nice
the
to meet
next
you.
meeting? Which day's the next meeting? I'm sorry.
Oh, February 18th, if that
Okay.
works.
Yep. Okay.
Obviously, we can be flexible if something comes up. And yeah, look forward to talking to you all between now and then. And if Heidi and Joanne, Rob, if you're interested, John is going to be you're attending an all commission meeting coming up next week, right, John?
Yes, Tuesday, right? 6 o'clock, I think.
Tuesday and 6 o'clock. If you're interested in what some of the other commissions are doing at the township, or may even want to get involved with one or more, you can kind of hear what's going on. The commissions in the township, just sort of like our energy team, really provide a lot of lively input to the township discussion. And with our environmentally friendly board right now, it's just really a great time to do the kinds of things that you all are involved with. So we're looking forward to a good, productive year.
So is that virtual, I'm assuming, and how that's next Tuesday at 6?
Yeah, and it should be on the website.
Okay.
Leroy, do you know, is there anything else on the agenda besides kind of the updates from boards and commissions?
I don't know. I think that's the main focus. I'll check on that.
It's on Meridian's page to locate
If
this?
you go to their calendar, you should be able to find a link. But if not, let me know. I'll be happy to send it out.
Okay. Oh, I had one question. Next, the solar stories. I had written down a good maybe a month or two ago that possibly next Thursday would be a solar story about the fire station.
Right.
Is that still the plan?
Yes, you're on the schedule.
Okay. Yeah. I want to make sure I'm prepared for that.
Okay.
So I guess just to kind of get a sense, I'm assuming it's sort of, we discuss the basics of the system, what it does, its production, its size, some of the specs, and then kind of discuss the offset that it does, maybe some of the environmental specifics, as far as trees, carbon emissions, these sorts of things, and then maybe show a couple graphs of the production to give a visual of what they're seeing, and then direct people to Meridian's website, with that link, which we are still trying to talk to SolarEdge about combining 2 monitoring platforms onto one, so you can see it from one location. I think with the marketplace and the fire station, that's probably going to be doable. But I was also thinking, if it could be, it might look good to have it set up to where there's like a little paragraph about each system, and then those separate links, so you know exactly what you're looking at. That's just a thought, we can circle back to it. But same thing, kind of with the service center. But with the service center being such a larger array, the monitoring platform, might be a little different in order to help, because SolarEdge is great, but it's also designed for typically smaller, if you optimizer based systems. And we'll go into the details of this, but I just want to make sure that there's a really nice place for people to view all the systems that's clear and makes sense.
Okay. Well, now, well, I'll send you a note because I need a few sentences.
And
I've got a picture already, but I'll send you a note.
Okay.
We're on for next Thursday, 7 to 8, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and that's great. I just want to make sure too that we're discussing the things that and touching on the points that you were sort of expecting. So yeah, if there's anything you want to send me as far as kind of what we should plan to talk about or how to present it.
Well, yeah, and keep in mind that the audience is 15 to 30 people, mostly just homeowners, some of them very knowledgeable about solar. So they'll have probably a lot of pretty technical questions for you guys.
Yeah, well, and I can have Dan and Jared there as well, and we'll be able to answer any of those questions. And yeah.
And the presentation is usually 30 minutes, and then 30 minutes for questions and answers.
Okay, I figured it was like about maybe plan for about 30 minutes and then leave time for questions.
Yep. It's an hour program, so that it's about 50-50. But I'll send you a reminder too, because I need a few sentences I sent
Sure.
out on Monday.
Okay.
Rob, just real briefly, I can create a landing page with all those links to the monitors on one page that's township accessible. So we don't have to
Okay.
have one monitor-driven website that has them all on. We can
Yeah,
have,
I just think it-
so
yeah,
why
it might
don't you
be nice.
send me your links and I'll get those on a landing page.
Okay, yeah, and from our side of it, it looks like your platform has been viewed. So it looks like, you know, not only the fire safe, but marketplace is up and viewed as well. So yeah, but we'll resend those. That's fine. Problem.
Or I think just the marketplace is the one I need, I believe.
Okay, yeah, that one's been opened. It shows that it's been viewed through the the Meridian side. So someone's been on there.
Okay, cool.
But we'll resend
All right.
it though. That's no problem.
All right, thanks everybody. Have a good week.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.